Hi everyone. Today we are talking to Rahil Mohsin. Rahil Mohsin is a comic artist from India. He started his journey with three graphic novels, Sufi Comics. Then he moved on to different mediums in comic, horror, sci-fi, comedy, drama. He has put his mark in multiple, comic books. Some of his works include Kiss Kiss Blam Blam, The Killer Day, The First Librarian on Mars, Blame It on Rahil, that is a collection of his works, Cat Dad and Supermom, The Big Sheep, a fan noir, which I love a lot, by the way, and Fantastic Rants of a Millennial Pip. So that is some of his works. He has worked in many more comics, and he's also currently working on some very interesting projects. So today we will get deep into, we'll know all about his process, his journey so far. So yeah, so give it up to Rahil Mohsin. Welcome, Rahil.
Hey Sanid,
Hey, how are
hi.
you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good. Yeah, so the way we will do is I have prepared some questions for you. So we will go in a systematic way. We will just try to get through these questions one by one. And hopefully, through these questions, we will get a picture of you as an artist. Also, the kind of your expectations from the medium and your comic process in general and things like that. Okay.
Cool.
All right. So to start off with, Rahil, why did you choose this comics as a medium, like of expression?
I've always loved comics since I've been like a 5-year-old kid. Like I've always there was always some uncle or the other who used to rent comics, and that's when I started I fell in love with the medium. And mm, I mean, that wasn't necessarily my first career choice. I didn't want to be a comic book artist. I mean, like every Indian kid, I mean, my parents wanted me to be an engineer or a doctor or whatever. But then, like, because they managed to see this artistic side of me, so they kind of like helped me sort of like understand myself. And I got into, I was actually trained as an animator,
Okay.
and I've got my BA honors in 3D animation. But then I, fell in love with the whole storyboarding process, and then got reintroduced to this thing that I really loved as a kid. And yeah, it just happened that I ended up drawing comics professionally after college.
Okay. So is there any moment which happened which like made that decision? Like, okay, because you are doing it in animation. So is there any reason why you just felt like you should concentrate only on comics? Is there some key event which happened or something you
Oh
can
yeah,
remember?
I used to bunk college classes a lot, and the was really good about my college was that the library was stacked with these graphic novels and everything. And that was when I came across this one independent comic series by Jonan Vasquez called Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I mean, there was some roots of Johnny the Homicidal Maniac with the cartoon show that I used to watch as a kid, because
Okay.
the creator was the same. And both the things that I grew up watching and reading kind of just like came together. And it wasn't really a traditional comic. The characters were not muscular or the mainstream comics. These characters were like stick figures, and they had a completely different storyline. Like the sense, there was no sense of a censor that people go through in that. And the art was more free flowing, the stories were less restricted, and they kind of like broke in a lot of boundaries. And that was one of those comics where I actually saw that these abusive language was used very poetically. So
Okay.
yeah, that was one of the reasons why that really got me into making my own comic strips.
Oh, that's really great. So you have made a lot of comics. So how did that first comic you did Sufi Comics, right? So how did that
Yeah.
project came into being? So that's
Sufi Comics, after graduation, I didn't really like get into comics professionally. I was still like, doing some odd jobs a design logo here and there. I did I was an assistant at a school. Like I know I was helping some teachers out
Okay, okay.
at a school as an art. I was taking workshops, and a lot of things happened. And I came across Sufi 40 Sufi Comics, the first comic that Sufi Comics had come up with, and then I got in touch with them. Um, and they were also looking for an artist around that time, and we just like met at their office at Kormangla, and it happened. The first book was Vice Full of Baghdad, and then I went on to make two more graphic novels with them, Rumi Volume 1 and Rumi Volume 2.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you,
so the
yeah, so is there any comic of yours which you like the most or you connect with the most you've done so far?
Yeah, so Cat Dad and Supermom was something that I still connect with a lot, because this is one of my most recent projects, and this was one of those places where the writer Rob Anderson gave me a lot of free,
Creative freedom.
a lot of independence with sort of experimenting the art style and everything. And this was kind of like a dream come true for me, because I've always wanted to illustrate some children's comics, like just nice friendly comics that kind of like is a reminder for those nostalgic people like us from the 90s who've grown up watching shows like Dexter's Lab and Justice League, Johnny Bravo and all that. So yeah,
And I
this is
think
one of
there was a lack of cynicism in these comics. Like it's just there to entertain and just so that the
yeah,
kids will have fun, right?
yeah, that's actually true, because as we grow old, we just like with wisdom comes cynicism also. And
Exactly.
yeah, for us growing up just feels like accepting the fact that there is never going to be a happy ending is kind of like a driving force now. But yeah, it's always nice to share some kind of hope through our work. And yeah, the props to the writer Rob Anderson.
Is
Was
it like
actually
a
like his
series of books or
It is, yes. The first issue came out at Comic Con a couple of years back. I mean, pre-pandemic time, and we also have a second issue coming out very soon. It's the production's done. It's just that we have to get it, announce it.
okay, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, Rahil, you're also into independent publishing, right? So
Yeah.
why did you make that choice? Why did you go into independent publishing? So, and could you let us know the journey on that side?
Mostly it happened accidentally only for me. When I was working with Sufi Comics, I was still an artist for hire. But around the time when ICF had just started, that was when I collaborated with a writer from Portugal named Andre Matios. He was the writer of The Big Sheep, a farm noir, and he
Okay,
was looking for an artist. And we kind of like, collaborated on this project with the agreement that, I publish a certain amount of copies within this and sell them within Pan India. I mean, Pan
okay.
India is too ambitious, but yes, like just around that time when ICF happened, that was when I put up a stall and started selling. And that was when I met a lot of independent creators and realized that this is a really great thing to try.
Yeah. So yeah, could you just my next question is regarding these festivals like Indie Comics Fest and Comic Con, the physical events which we are actually missing, and this year hopefully they're all coming back. So could you just let me know about the impact of the events like ICF and Comic Con has in the comic scene?
Um, well, yeah, places like convention spaces like these in India had been like, always looked at something for the elites. And, when a place like, I mean, by the elites, I mean like somebody who's actually like written for such a long time. And then like, there are these festivals in honor of these great creators and everything. And it's just that, when these convention spaces started coming in like Comic Con and ICF, it kind of helped a common narrative also come out in the form of different media, and not just the written word. Like you have comics, you have zines, you have graphic novels. So yeah, it's been like I mean, these spaces have actually been a boon mostly for artists like myself, because it's very important for us to actually like build up a community of artists, so we can actually like not just like help each other out, but also create a support system for each other. When I first joined, when I first published the Big Sheep, I had no contacts whatsoever. Like, I just got the book printed from some place I was overcharged at, and but then because of the warmth that I got while at the convention space, was when it really helped me like connect with the right kind of people, who gave me the right contacts, who were always there, like keeping a tab on each stage.
Exactly.
And it's not like everybody is selfish, like everybody wants the other person to grow. So yeah, these spaces like really helped create a sense of warmth,
Yeah.
and mutual appreciation.
Exactly. Yeah, the same experience with me. I also started in ICF 2019. So the same experience. I've never been to Comic Con, but hopefully maybe in the future I will go there as well. But so far the ICF has been like fully exceptional. I have been there only once, and I can't wait to get back. So
Yeah.
on a parallel thing, the ICF is coming back this year. On September 18th, it is coming to Bangalore. October 2nd, it is coming to Kochi, and on October 9th, it's coming to Delhi. Then the Mumbai date is not yet announced. So that is we are waiting, and hopefully Chennai will also come. But yeah, we are waiting for those announcements as well. Yeah.
And
So
congratulations on Hope On.
yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, Hope On happened from ICF only. It's like directly came out because ICF 2019 Kochi happened, because most of the artists came out of that. Yeah. So Rahil, my next question is a little like we are taking a detour. Like I just want to know your comic process. Like how do you do a comic page or comic panel? Like what is the process now, or what was the earlier process before, and what are you doing now? So just wanted to because maybe that will be helpful for comic creators who are listening.
For me, I'm still learning. Like there is no process set in stone for someone like me, because I'm extremely disorganized. But the process, I do see a slight evolution in the process of comic book making. So I'll maybe like list out a set of stages that I go through. Like these are especially for the projects that I work in collaboration with writers. So a writer would send me a script, and then based on the script, I would these scripts, comic book scripts, are usually different from your movie scripts, where you have scene wise splitting. Here you have a panel splitting format. So based on the panels, I first like make the layouts. While the layouts are being made, I look at the character creation requirements, and then create a character design document with uh, turnarounds, and some poses. I think some crucial poses that might be used, and then and that's when I start like breaking down the script, and creating it in the form of an artwork. But yeah, if you're supposed to break down the artwork, then there are 3-4 stages that I follow. One is the thumbnail stage. That's when all the penciling comes. Then I do the line art, which has the inking, colors, and finally lettering.
Okay.
So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, lettering. Do you do it like you have on handwritten letters, or do you use font, dependent fonts and things like
Um,
that?
for most of my projects, I do hand lettering. Otherwise, there is one particular font that I really like using. It's called Creative Block. Apart from that, like mostly the font requirement comes from
From
the
the client.
writers that I collaborate with. Yes. So yeah, and yes, the software that I use for making comics is Clip Studio Paint.
Clip Studio Paint.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Thanks a lot, Rahil, for sharing that. I think that comic process is something which I am really interested in, like, because that's how even like I also try to learn from other artists what they do. So thanks a lot for sharing that. Is there any favorite comic book of comic artist who has inspired you the most? You already mentioned, your early
Jonan
inspiration.
Vasquez.
Yeah, yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jonan Vasquez.
yeah.
And then there is one more. There are actually lots of artists creators that I really like, but off the top of my head, I really enjoy Craig Thompson's work. Uh, the person who's made Blankets
Blanket,
and Habibi
Habibi.
and Goodbye Chunky Rice. Goodbye Chunky Rice was one of my favorite works of his.
Yeah,
Apart from that, apart from Craig Thompson, there is Scotty Young. Mm, Alex Ross is somebody I really like. Just am inspired by. I mean, nobody can really touch his work or anything, but it's
yeah.
something that I just like worship.
It's like pure art, right?
Yeah,
Something to look at.
yeah.
So, which is your favorite book of Alex Ross?
Kingdom Come.
Yeah, yeah, same thing with me also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when we talk about Superman, Batman, I think that is one book which we always recommend, right? To get that mythology.
Yeah,
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 awesome.
yeah. And especially for like 90s kids like us, it's just so amazing that there is one entire generation that knows how we grew up on these superhero cartoons, and then most of that is being translated into live action uh,
Exactly.
by their rival company.
Yeah,
But
true.
yeah,
Yeah, right. Marvel is making those stories, and they are the one who are actually adapting that. The characterization and things more effectively, I guess, than DC. That's the irony, I guess, in the live action.
yeah, yeah.
And is there any Indian artist or like an Indian independent artist whom you think like more people should learn about?
Oh, man, there are so many people.
Yeah,
The first person that comes to my mind is Apu Pen.
yeah,
George Mathen. Like he kind of like started a lot of these things. Then there is Bharat Murthy.
yes, definitely.
We have people like Lokesh Kotke and Sumit Kumar who are really trying to strengthen this community as much as possible. Lokesh Kotke is through his Blue Jackal collective is trying to get a lot of other newer artists to provide their voice and a platform to just exhibit their art to the world.
Exactly.
And then there is Sumit Kumar, who just like who dreams so big, and he's just like quite an inspiration. Like if there is, I could have never thought that there would be a comic book artist who would end up on a reality TV show like Shark Tank.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, Sumit's done that, so yeah,
yeah.
sky's the limit.
Yes, I think that I think putting yourself out there like that has helped every one of us. Like that suddenly that more and more people will come and look, okay, what is really happening in this comic art world, and but I think that mainstream attention is very important to get. It's very important. And I think
Yeah.
today's August 15th when we are recording this, and today they came out with that video for Independence Day, which is like it's a masterpiece, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jinnah having that guitar thing, it's too creative. Like it, at least you have to watch it at least 5-6 times to get all the details from that video. So many things are
Yeah, yeah,
happening in
yeah.
just 1 minute time, and every frame is funny. So I just really
The
like it.
buffed up Gandhi was
Puffed up
amazing. It's
I think by the end, it's like vein is popping out, his blood is oozing out of his muscles. It's that much intensity is there. And
yeah, it's like Gandhiji only started having protein powder as
yeah,
a diet or whatever.
the thing is that I mean it's wonderful satire. It's very funny. I think Sumit's work is always funny first and then political later. It's more about the humor. Always, the
Yeah.
humor is the key factor, and I enjoy that a lot. At least in a time like this, where We always try to push the agenda first. He puts the comedy first, so that's really inspiring.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We've got so much to learn from him.
yeah, exactly. Especially the way they are pushing both. Also, Apupan also is the way he is pushing the comic scene forward. I think that's also very inspiring. I like we have like we can. I learn a lot from you guys a lot. uh, then any other medium other than comics which you enjoy? Like you talked about.
Cartoons.
Yeah.
Cartoons, like you, even if you ask me to, like, even if you wake me up in the middle of the night to watch a cartoon with you, I would do that. But there is a condition that these cartoons need to be from between the 90s to the early 2000s because I'm very nostalgic that way.
Yeah. Do you think
But
the like I will get back to the specific cartoons, but do you think something happened after 2000s and because what happened really? Like, did we grow up and it's like a we don't feel nostalgic towards these new cartoons, or is there like a change in quality?
I don't think it's any of that, at least for me, because around the time I stopped watching cartoons was when my graduation got over and I stepped into the real world. So once you step into the real world, you just kind of like start pretending. I mean, not pretending. You have to start thinking like a grown up, like a mature
Ah,
person,
yeah.
and that's when I lost touch and I wasn't able to, like, keep track of anything. But I do see that there are some shows that get a lot of hate nowadays by my peers, but I kind of like the direction in which it's heading. Like, there are shows that like that have been heavily criticized for their art style and everything, but I do feel like uh, I think that's where the audience's sensibilities are also like evolving in that sense. One of the shows that I watched in recent times was Teen Titans Go and
Yeah.
and Steven Universe, Adventure Time. Those are very like simplistic, vectorish, iconic cartoon styles, and I mean, it's it's just something that might be I don't know what should I say, appealing to the newer generations rather than like the kind of aesthetics that we
We
grew
were
up to.
we grew up with. Yeah, I have tried
Yeah.
to uh, make my daughters watch DuckTales and Tailspin, and they enjoy watching it. But yeah, but they suddenly have become fans of Darkwing Duck. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, 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 I do.
Yeah, so they have become like I have tried to show them DuckTales, Tailspin, and Chip and Dale, but somehow they are more interested in watching Darkwing Duck. But because I
Mm,
think all of them are available now in Hotstar, so because Disney has
yeah.
put it out, and even that older Hindi dubbing is available, which I used to watch. So I am more
Yeah, yeah.
nostalgic towards the Hindi dub of DuckTales. I don't want to watch the English one. So I think so. Yeah, but coming back to you, which are the '90s cartoons which you watch?
Right now I've started watching Justice League again,
Mm.
only because the movies are crap. So I just want to like feel that again. So I'm
I
watching
think
Justice League.
I think Snyder fans are going to comment under the comments maybe. Hopefully, if people
Oh
watch it.
man, we'll get a lot of eyeballs because of this then.
Yeah, I think one of my friend is a huge Snyder fan, so yeah, he likes, but he has his own reasons. Yeah, I also like appreciate his reasons, like because the stylization is very nice. Man. They
Yeah.
look
I
really
like the
good.
Snyder cut. I
Yeah,
did like
yeah.
the Snyder
Justice League
cut.
Snyder Cut was a good movie. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
over long, but
that
yeah,
was the only thing that I liked. After Joker, and I mean, I'm yet to watch Batman, but I'm just tired of watching Batman movies now.
I think
So
Batman
yeah.
movie I like. I like the Batman movie because it was more about the psychology of Batman, and I think that is not done that well in live action because it had a
Oh.
lot of Batman. Because I think I
Mhm.
think a lot about Batman because I think the discussion will take a tangent if we keep on discussing on Batman. But yeah, but I think that
We'll keep a podcast on this.
Batman.
Batman, yeah, Superman.
Yeah, because for him, like he's Batman first and the Bruce Wayne second. I feel that is the way because
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Wayne is the guy he's pretending to be, but he's ultimately his psyche lies with Batman, whatever he is as Batman. So that is explored nicely in this movie, I feel, because he's a young guy.
Hmm.
So he's presented as a flawed individual because he's not there yet, and that is explored well.
Hmm.
I feel. I think I didn't like the Riddler portions, but apart from that, the movie I think was decent. Yeah. So Justice League was Justice League. I was also a huge fan. The animated adventure series, right? I think they
That's
even
also an interesting point because nowadays the movies kind of like blur the lines between good and evil so much that there are times when we end up sympathizing with the villain also at
correct.
times.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of is confusing nowadays. Otherwise, as we were kids, like we knew like, Acha, Superman is the good guy, Darkseid is the bad guy.
Yeah.
But,
That's true.
yeah.
I think because they are trying to write interesting characters, and that is why it is happening.
Mm.
But yeah, you're right. I think that debate is going on a lot these days. That why does the villain sound more sounds like why is villain making more sense? But I think that is a good storytelling, right? Like the villain has
Yeah.
a level-headed kind of one-sided mind, while the hero is a little bit confused from the beginning. So that is how that story arcs are generally built
Mm.
up. Like the hero is actually in a flawed state, and the villain, with whatever wrong thing he's doing, he is very strong in his belief system, and then eventually
I
that collides.
also
Yeah.
I also feel that this kind of confusion is coming from a certain age group only, like basically our age group, because we've been programmed to just look at good and evil and think of
Correct.
things in extremes. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that is true. Uh, so yeah, what would be the one advice you would give to the young comic creators, especially in India? Because
Oh, yeah. And never seek validation from anybody and everybody. What you need to really do is seek feedback from people who actually know the craft, because if you start seeking validation and feedback from anybody who has just probably like a passing knowledge of comics, then don't take feedback from them, and try to always seek out places where you can sort of strengthen your artistic skills and also surround yourselves by supporting people from the field and also from outside your field. But that's a very few percentage, like people from outside your field.
yeah, I think the also the comic world is very supportive so far, right? Like we at least the indie
Yeah.
comic world is artist and everything. They are like if you are stepping into the game, then I think you will find some help or other from someone for sure. Because
Yeah,
that has been my
definitely. And
experience also.
there are also like a lot of people who are very familiar with the struggles, like more experienced people, and we always end up learning so much from them instead of being stuck in our own minds and our own studios trying to do just one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great advice. And what are your current projects and also your future projects?
Current projects, I'm currently moving out of here. So most of my time is going in that itself. Like I have to dedicate a lot of my time and space to just planning, shifting our studio from here to a different place. So while that is going on, I'm working on one project for Scout Comics with two writers, Steph Cannon and Matt Knowles. The it's a it's published by Scout Comics, का imprint called Scoot. Um, it's a series. It's a series called Misfits Clubhouse, and it's got these um, two kids and two of their animal friends, and they live in a tree house, and they have these a new adventure in every issue. There are short stories along with it, and each issue has a game. These little games that we used to see in pulp magazines and newspapers, like crossword puzzles and jumbled words and all that. So it's just going to be a full-on kid-friendly comic book series, just like Cat Dad and Supermom.
Okay, nice. So do you think that that comic is giving good competition to Cat Dad and Supermom as your favorite comic?
I don't really know. I love both of them equally, and I like
Yes.
the writers also. I want to stay employed.
Yeah, I understand completely. And one final question is like, is there any dream project in comics which you want to work on?
I've not been able to find the time to give to my pet project, which is Fantastical Rants of Millennial Pip, or FROM for short. It's just this another page that I'm handling on Instagram, and I'm kind of in between these projects. I've not been able to find the time to really like dedicate my time to it, but when I do find the time, I'll probably like have short strips out on that page, and then probably think of a long form story later on.
Okay. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
I think with that, I think we can wrap up our conversation. Rahil, thanks a lot for joining me.
Thank you, Sanid.
I hope to whomever listening, this has been helpful. This has been very illuminating for me. So thanks a lot, Rahil. All the best for your future comic works, and
Thank you.
hopefully the comic scene in India will also improve and become self-sustaining. Yeah, if that's possible. Yeah, thanks a lot, Rahil, and thanks everyone.
Always a pleasure, Sanid.
Always. Yeah.
Always a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot.